Come on. Alright, we are back, and today we are on the workbench. Today, and probably multiple days, just because I don't have all the parts, but today I'm going to start on it, and this whole episode will be the fuel system. So I got this LS6 manifold when I put in the L33. It all matches up. I already took out the 2 bolts, one here, and released the fuel rail, pulled all the injectors out so I can work on it. I'll be putting in these new Delphi injectors. These are OEM 50-pound injectors that you can run E85 on. They're their OEM flex fuel injectors. They are a lot shorter. Let's pull one out here. So they are definitely much shorter. Get them to match up. ICT Billet makes adapters for both the injector as well as the plug. So I got little plug adapters to match these up with the wiring harness I already have. I'm going to start taking all of these injectors out and swapping over to the new ones. Pretty simple and straightforward project. Injectors are held in with O-rings, so they slip out pretty easy. The adapter also has an O-ring on it, so the adapter goes on top of the injector and then pops on. Easy project. Easy project. I don't know if these clips are needed, but I put them on anyways, just in case. And I misspoke, it was 4 bolts. I have 4 bolts for the fuel rail, not 2. I don't know why I thought 2. But it's 4. Stock ones are like 24-pound injectors. So this is just more than double what I had. Should give me the fuel I need to put down the power that this new engine is capable of. Yeah, I decided to go back here and do something else I had been thinking about doing. So pulled the fuel rail back off, and now you see me using some of that nice golden heat tape to get the fuel rails wrapped up. A little bit of heat protection, never hurt anything. Finally done. I got done, and then I remembered I wanted to wrap the fuel rails in heat wrap, and I remember seeing this on a couple other engines, and I was like, that's an interesting idea. I want to try that. I went ahead and wrapped it in heat tape along the bottom side, all over the fuel rail. I don't know if it helps, but it's not going to hurt. And I like the look of it. New fuel injectors are in. The wiring harness adapters are in. Heat wrapped. So this is ready to go onto the engine, as well as the next fuel upgrade coming up. Radium. Just unboxing the new drop-in surge tank here. Got all the bits and pieces, some hose, and the drop-in surge tank. Man, that looks nice. The stock fuel pump sending units over on the passenger side, and that drop-in surge tank goes on the driver's side. Usually on the driver's side it is a fuel level sending unit, but I'll be dropping in this surge tank instead. What happens is the stock fuel pump on the passenger side will fill up this smaller surge tank, so this never goes low and you'll never deal with slosh issues or fuel starvation. Time lapse here of getting the surge tank ready. It's very easy to disassemble, not a lot of parts to it. You just pull the top hat off, there's a bracket that holds the fuel pump, and then you can get the fuel pump connected and wired in. It does have two sides, so I could run a second fuel pump, and I probably will, just as a backup. I don't need it, but backups don't hurt. Alright, at some point the camera died, but I got this Walbro 450 pump on, and that will go into this surge tank, and that's what the stock fuel pump keeps this full, and then this feeds the engine. Here I have the driver's side fuel level sender. I just pulled out of the gas tank, and looking through the directions, I have that one on the left, which requires another piece. For the time being, I am just not going to have a fuel level sender in my tank, and I'll just have to keep it topped off. Honestly, I didn't have a way to wire it to the Terminator X yet anyways, and I don't really have the patience to figure that out right now. So I'm just going to keep the tank topped off, and we won't use this. Dropping in the surge tank is super easy because it bolts right into the factory holes. So after I got this in, I then ran the lines, and guess who forgot to record? And of course, I didn't record any of it in time-lapse or anything. I had to run these two new lines because I needed a line that goes from that fuel pump to fill the surge tank, and then from the surge tank back to the original fuel line up to the engine. You shove them in the back here, and then they come down underneath and run. This is barely going to show on the camera, but they run up there. You can see them up above the exhaust and the diff back to the front side of the fuel tank. At first I was trying to shove them up the back here because they came out the back on the driver's side, so I thought shove them up the front side. Then we went down the back side on the driver's side, so I thought come up the back side, but what they had to do is run alongside the fuel tank and up right about here, and then up through the front. Since I didn't mark them, I gotta figure out which one's which, and I'm just gonna blow air through them to figure it out, and then mark them, and then start putting on the fittings so I can actually connect them. Fittings on this side are simple ones. They're just press fit hose barb side to 6AN. Okay, so I got the fittings on the new side, the surge tank side. Now I gotta get fittings on that side. Radium comes with two different sizes, two possibilities for the OEM quick releases. I have already measured mine, and I am the bigger size, so we'll get these on. I gotta connect those and then get these on the lines. Also in the kit, Radium supplies a fuel pressure gauge and an inline adapter. And you can install that. It would go right here, but I have a fuel pressure adapter on my fuel rail for the Holly, so I got it right on my screen. So for now, I'm going to not use this one. I'll decide later if I see any use in it, but for now we're gonna skip this. All right, I lied. I put it on. We're gonna use it just as a secondary. The new Radium setup is nearly complete. Factory side, on the OEM side, fuel will come out there. It runs down through the hoses, fills up the surge tank pump runs it back. I'll get the pressure sensor right there. I'll be able to read, but I'll also be able to read it on my dash. But it'll go through there up to the engine. All that's left is tighten down these fittings right here and then wiring. The last thing I had to do for the Radium surge tank was get the wiring done. And I did that all off camera. Apologize, but I was sick of recording. So here I have the two fused relays, wiring for the Radium surge tank, wiring for the OE pump, and then it's triggered by the Holly harness. And I have tested it, turning on the fuel, and I have already set it at 60 PSI. It's a little low, hold on. And there you go. And that's just done by this. You just turn the fuel pressure like a regulator. It's that easy. So that's all done. And now it's time to get the engine running. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, likes, comments. I appreciate you. See you in the next one. Okay, 6% battery life on the GoPro, so let's get this out quick. And I am out of breath.